this seems impossible, but it's time for another quarterly review. So this time I'm covering the months of July through September. And once again, I got through a ton of books. There's about 198 books that I got through. And I'm just going to walk you through what books they were and show them off and maybe highlight some of my favorites during this time period. But I guess for now, I'll just pass it over to Computer Me instead of the maybe. Okay, so here we are at my 2023 reading log, and we started here with Solido on July 1st, and that was book 422, and that was a good start to this quarter. Solido is an excellent memoir, and I would definitely recommend it. I think I've briefly spoken about this in a different video, but yeah, this is great. And let's just go on. See, then I read some more manga, catching up with Prince Freya. The Other World's books depend on the bean counter, which, you know, is like a favorite of mine. And actually, not breaking news anymore, but news is that the light novel is going to be released in English. So I am looking forward to that 1000%. I cannot wait for the light novel. I don't think I got a date yet of when it's released, but I'm so excited for that. And then The Heroic Legend of Arslan and Gentle Noble's Vacation recommendation. I love that one still. Yeah, so then I read a lot of manga, apparently. And this big tome, which was the Pulitzer Prize winner for the year, Demon Copperhead. Very depressing book. It was pretty real, but pretty sad in the fact of how real it was. I did get to read Half a Soul, which has been like everywhere. It's another one of those cozy fantasies, but I really liked Half a Soul. I would recommend this one. I have not gotten to read the second of the Regency, like, romances, fantasies for this, but yeah. I've heard it's not as good as Half a Soul, but I really would recommend this book. It was so good. And also this short story, The Bookstore Sisters by Alice Hoffman, I loved that so much. I wished it were a full novel. It's excellent. I got to finish the House Witch series. Well, alright. I finished the main trilogy. I still have, I think, the companion book to read, but that's also one I would recommend. And this one, which is out now, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. I loved this book too. That was very good. Wow, I'm seeing some of these and it's like flashing me back. Same with London House. I really liked that. Anna Iverson's Rules for Commuting. Great little book. Loved that one. There are some of these I will probably be talking about in the future, like Sunbeams in the Sky. I think the other one, Like a Butterfly. Yep, that's in there too. Sunbeams in the Sky is really good. I'm looking forward to reading the second volume before I review, but it's really good. Essentially, I'm just going through it. See if I say any more. Yeah, one of my favorites, Fragile Threads of Power. We're finally returning to the darker shades of Magic World, and I love it. I loved this book. I loved the new characters. I loved being back with my old favorite characters. Super good. And then also the prequel to Legends and Lattes. So both of these I did as arcs. This one is out now. This is going to be out soon, but not yet. And would recommend both of them. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I also like a lot of Emily Stone's, like, sadder holiday works, so this is a good one. I don't know. There's just... I guess there was a lot of good books that I finished. So if you see any on here that look interesting, and of course I will show the covers in the Goodreads portion, but I just wanted to go quickly over some of these. And some are books that I've reviewed. Oh, I finally got to read Gunkel, which is going to have a sequel out next summer. And this was really sweet. I'm glad I finally read it. This new Beth O'Leary, The Wake Up Call, much better than the No-Show. So try that one. And there's a kind of holiday background, so like backdrop, I should say. So if you you can read it at any time, no problem, but it does fit nicely with the holiday season. So if you want just like a sweet romance during that season, Wake Up Call is good. I'm thinking maybe The 10 Things That Never Happened was after this. The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi, very good. Before We Say Goodbye, which is the 4th book from the Tales from the Cafe. Wonderful. I sped through that. It was so good. Maybe I already passed The 10 Things That Never Happened. If I did, that was fabulous. It's a new Alexis Hall book. Again, it has kind of a Christmas time backdrop, but it's not specifically like it has to be a Christmas book. Like you could read it any time. It's so good. That one has like fake amnesia. So good. Would recommend. And yeah, honestly, we just end right here. The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent, Volume 2. That's the light novel. Great second volume. I ended at 620 books so far. And yes, you can see that continues into October where I have read more. These were all, not to spoil things for the next quarter, but these were all like the freebies from the Amazon original stories, and they were all really good. They were told by like my favorite horror authors. So we had Joe Hill, Grady Hendrix, Josh Mallerman, Paul Tremblay, Jason Mott, and then Chandler Baker, which I don't think I've read anything of hers yet, but this was a pretty good story. I think the Paul Tremblay In Bloom and the Josh Mallerman It Waits in the Woods were my favorite, although the Ankle Snatcher gave me some horrific thoughts where then like I had trouble like getting out of bed. And if you end up reading that, you'll know what I mean. But it was good. Anyway, that's spoilers for next quarter, but it fits better with this time of year to tell people about it. But yeah. And then I can go over quickly to the charts. Here we go. I'm still doing really good in like everything. Good mix of a lot of stuff. There's my comics versus prose, short stories, novellas, and the genre. Still a pretty good blend. Mostly fantasy, romance, general fiction, mystery, historical, horror. That's a good chunk of horror. Memoir, science fiction. So I'm still doing pretty good. I like this one that's like backlist or pubbed in. What was this one? I'm not sure what the 2% is. And then page count. This is the biggest I think I've ever had my review copy section, and I'm really excited to see this one as large as it is. I'm going to keep going on with review copy. I'm really enjoying getting to review things and yeah, just sharing my thoughts about new upcoming releases. And then this is a good division between from the library and my own TBR. I think that's nice. Audiobooks, books finished by month. So you can see my largest months were February and March. July would have been the third highest, and April and May were the two lowest ones. You know, and I say that, but it was still like a lot of books. and then August and September. And there's my ratings. As you can see, not much falls into like the below 3. Then the author by gender, nation of origin of the books. This I always find interesting. Then authors and protagonists. I like this too, the books in translation versus not translation. That's fascinating. I don't know. I don't really think about any of these things when I get a book. I just get a book because it seems interesting. So then it's interesting to see it laid out. But it's not something I necessarily think about unless I have to like hit a target for a reading challenge. I don't think about things like the character's ethnicity or orientation. That's not what's important to me. Let's see. I did find out, I don't know if you remember, like how some of these didn't seem to be going correctly, and that's because the data set was set to like 2022 instead of 2023, so it was like at 0 for these, but I ended up correcting that point, so now they should all be correct. And yeah, I think these are great months, even though they're the lowest. These are crazy months. I don't know how I did that, honestly, because that's not normal, even with July. Must be just me getting through a big manga series or something. I'm not really sure, but that's wild to me. And then I feel like these months are actually more of like the norm for me. So yep, I've had a lot of fun. And it's fun seeing it laid out like this, because I don't think about it when I'm reading or listening to a book. Like, I just want to get through the book, so it's funny to see it laid out statistically like this. I also don't know if it ever corrected this. Yeah, like I still don't know why these are missing, because I know I finished this. I have the print version, so something got screwy here why the numbers aren't picking up for these two, but I'd have to go back to my print version to see what titles they were and why they're missing, and I just haven't done that yet. And then lastly, let's just hop over to Goodreads. So I love this part because I like to get to look at the covers again because it triggers things, but we're starting down here with Solito and then going up. Most of the manga series you see here I do super love and would recommend. I don't think any of them were ones that I didn't enjoy. Oh, I didn't mention this one, Teach the Torches to Burn, is Caleb Roerig's Romeo and Juliet retelling. And I thought this was a really sweet retelling. I liked it a lot. I would recommend that one. Again, since I did talk about some of these, I am just going to keep going through it. And if I see one that I missed, I'll talk about it. But overall, I loved a great deal of the books. I just want to see what this one was. Oh, Good Bad Girl. This is a newer release, but I don't know why there's not a cover with that version. There's 10 things that never happened. I knew I'd find it here somewhere. But yeah, would recommend this one. I did not love Pineapple Street. Just I didn't like the characters, and so that wasn't fun. I liked Mr. Magic. The end, I wasn't 100% sold on, but I did like this book too. I really want to talk about this series. I thought that it was complete at 4 volumes, but I think there is actually a 5th one coming out, and I really want to talk about it. I love this series so much. What is it? The Vampire and His Pleasant Companions. I don't know. The little bat that the vampire turns into is such a cute design. And it's funny because it blends like really kind of cozy vibes with like gory depictions at times, like really gory, dreadful looking depictions, and yet I don't know, a lot of it is very cozy. And I would 100% recommend it though. I do plan to probably review this one, Assistant to the Villain. I also enjoyed Witch of Wild Things. Now, these two kind of both came in and fulfilled part of my reading TBR for September. No, for October. It was my October TBR. I'm like behind myself. Fit my October TBR. Because after I did the TBR poll, it was... and yes, I know I technically read them in September, but it was for my October TBR. But it was like, place books on hold at the library and read the first one that comes in, which was technically Witch of Wild Things. But this one came in right around the same time. But I already owned the book, so I also didn't want to count this one because I owned the book, like the physical book. But my audio copy came in around the same time. So I don't know. I'll be talking about these around TBR recap time. I'm still making my way through the Five Nights at Freddy's series. These are so fun to just listen to, but sometimes they make me a little depressed because there will essentially not be anything wrong with the kid, whoever the main character is. Like sometimes they are an unrepentive jerk, and other times they're just like a kid. And when tragic stuff happens in the stories, it just makes me really depressed. But there you go. Yeah, and we end here. And I don't know, this year has been really good for a lot of good books that I have just really, really enjoyed reading, which I think has just kept me going and reading more. So I would definitely say if you see any of these books that look interesting to you, give them a read because they probably are really good. I had a great time with reading so far. And there's only 1 quarter left to go for the year, so I would say overall 2023 was a success. It's been a great year, and I'm just super excited about everything. And now I'll pass it back to my other self to conclude the video. So there you have it. That's another quarter down. This is actually my last one that'll be published in 2023. My final review of the year will be up in early 2024. That seems impossible, and before I have some kind of crisis on my hands, I'll let you go. Cannot believe where I stand at this point with how many books that I've gotten through this year. There's definitely been a lot. I think challenging myself to get through like 2 light novels at least a month has really pushed my reading and my number, and some of those are very quick reads, so I don't know. I think it's just helped a lot having a variety of things to read and reading in a variety of ways, whether it has been my audiobooks or, reading my ebook copies or just a nice regular read at night. I think all of those combined have just like kickstarted how I'm reading and how many I'm able to get through. And it's been really, really nice. For the end of the year, I do hope to like just take a little slow down a bit because there's a lot of projects that I'm working on craft-wise and work-wise. So I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely going to be slowing down for the rest of the year. But we'll see how many I get through in 2023 in my final quarterly review, which again won't be out until next year. So that's it for this video. Until next time. Bye.